It's alive. That's a whole lot of spear guns. We're no longer in Florida. We are down in Mexico, and we're going to look for some fish that we don't really get the chance to shoot at home or aren't even available where we live. So first thing we had to do was get there, get all the gear unloaded, meet up with Baja Azul. We have Pepe and Victor taking us out to go do some spear fishing. The whole reason we're here is for Morgan's 30th birthday, though. So we have Morgan and Margot on the boat today, Pepe and Victor as our captain and spearfishing guide. And we have my wife, my brother's wife, my brother, and some other friends all back at the house, which we'll meet up with a little bit later. But now we're going to head on out and do some spearfishing.
You're like an emo kid.
Remember. Look! No way, right? This is the back? Is this the back? I don't remember.
There's a tag inside, isn't there?
This is the butt?
Morgan, I'm really trying to film some majestic whale footage.
Oh my
No,
God.
this is the
I want them to
front.
come over here.
It's ripping my hair!
All geared up, now it is time to start diving. We got unseasonably cold water. It is wintertime, but it is a lot colder than it should be. We had to load up the spear gun. I'm shooting the Koa 130 wide body and a slip tip shaft with the Danima slip tip. It's the Moray slip tip. The fish we're looking for is a fish that's probably the most sought after fish by spear fishermen around the world. It can be found in many different areas. It presents a little bit of a challenge to it, but it's also a very rewarding fish because of the taste, the fight. It's a cool fish. And the fish I'm talking about is the Wahoo. It's a very fast fish. The meat is very soft, so you need a good shot placement on it. And they are fast and they are strong. So first thing we're doing is loading up the gun. Then we're going to look for some wahoos. Now that shiny thing you're seeing in the middle of the screen, that's a flasher. It can be a lot of different things, anything from a spoon to a CD to an actual thing that's marketed as a flasher. But basically it's just something shiny to get the fish's attention. I swam down to get my flasher and I saw my first wahoo of the day. It was kind of between myself and Margot, and I don't think Margot saw it at the time though. I started swimming towards it. I could see the wahoo wanted nothing to do with me, and instead of chasing it, you want to bring these fish into you. So I got back to the surface with my flasher and gave it a little chuck. Now it's pretty interesting if you've ever done some wahoo diving or any kind of diving around pelagics. The flasher's a total game changer if you've never used one before. The fish come right in on it. Should have took that shot a little earlier, but I didn't. I hit him really good, right where I think you're supposed to shoot a wahoo. It's debatable. Some people say go for the head. Some people go for right between those two fins, dead center. It's a firmer meat, holds a little better, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if I just didn't have enough power or the slip tip pulled out, but that was a heartbreaker because it was a good aim, good shot, just didn't stick. And that was going to prove to be something that haunted me for the rest of the trip. In the moment, though, you can't let it bother you. We continued to dive, looking for wahoos over and over. Got a couple glimpses of one on the same spot. There was actually two wahoo I saw at the beginning. I think I shot one, and then I saw the second one a couple more times, but never presented itself with the shot, never pulled the trigger on it. And same thing with Morgan and Margot, never really got the opportunity other than the one shot I took. So we wahoo dove very hard, over and over and over, and the water was just too cold. It was too cold for wahoos. They moved out of the area. So we decided to try to save the day. Pepe took us out to do a little bit of reef diving. Now I think we're in about 60 or 70 feet here, and we're looking for something for dinner because we have a big sushi dinner planned for the birthday party, and we need fish for it. We got a nice sushi chef coming to the house. but we need fish. That's the only ingredient we're missing. Now, you can see here there's tons of fish around, but not the right one. We're looking for this guy right here. Now, you've seen me shoot a lot of amberjacks at home. I call that the El Rolo shot. That's not an amberjack, though. That's different. That's an almaco, and it's even different from our almacos over here on the east coast of Florida. That's one of the best tasting fish you will find in Baja. Almaco jacks are absolutely amazing. I've heard about it nonstop since I've been coming here with Morgan and Pepe, but I've never eaten one. I've never seen one. I've never shot one, but that's all about to change when we go to our sushi dinner. But we're not done. We need some more fish, because that's only one fish, and there's like 10 of us. So Morgan is pulling on the fish. Pepe is kind of checking everything out, and it's time to land an amberjack. Now, we always want to take really good care of the meat, but especially since this is going to be served as sushi, it's very important to bleed the fish, gut the fish, get it on ice, take really good care of the fish so that it's as good as possible. We killed this fish and we don't want to waste it. We want it to be super good. And you can see right there looking at the fish, it does look a little different than our amberjacks we get over here in Florida. Or our almacos, I'm sorry. A little different than the almacos we get over here in Florida.
I know, that's fine.
Now it's time to hop in the boat, regroup, and check out the fish.
That's my first almaco.
Really?
In the Pacific. Yeah, I've never seen one here.
Almaco. I don't know why I thought
That's
we
Morgan's
shot-
birthday dinner, maybe.
That's my birthday dinner.
Birthday!
Birthday. We're gonna make
Yay.
a
Did you do a picture on yours?
Yeah.
Pepe.
Hi.
Victor, dímelo.
It's the first?
Yeah. First almaco.
Yeah, nice. Did you see a school or?
Yeah, first he was by himself. He came straight up to me, and then after I shot him, I saw like 5.
And he was like, that's it. I don't need more than this.
Nada? Okay. You know how like when you go get tacos, they have the big thing and it has like the
Eat it. Spit it out.
round like
Eating it.
oven, like a stove top.
Eat it. You got it. You're
It
on.
has like a bump on top.
He's gonna jump up and stab
Oh my
you.
god! Let me grab him. We got him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. When they every time they make tacos, they put the meat.
The Wahoo!
Look, that thing spins.
They put the meat on the outside and then they put the tortillas on top.
Hold him up, Morgan. Just grab him. You got gloves on.
Here,
What do you tell about? Illegal fish?
Morgan's got.
I'm scared. Look, it's got its mouth open.
No, you got it.
Oh my god. World record.
Look at those fins, though. They're red. Get them in the light. All right, you can let him go. Wait, Pepe wants him for his restaurant. Look at.
Are you having fun?
I am having
Okay, I
fun.
hope so. I'm worried. But we have 2 more days. It's fine.
Inspirational talks with
I
Morgan.
really hope.
You're on video. What are you doing? I had it so nice, and now look at it.
I just put myself crying on it.
Wherever I go, I've really started to like to bring this little reel with me. It's my little Saltex 3000 or some kind of little reel and a little jig. I'm using pompano jig right here, or a little goofy jig, about a 3/4 ounce, because everything eats it. It looks like a little shrimp or bait fish bouncing around, and especially in new areas that I'm not familiar with the fish. I don't know what any of these fish are. I mean, I know it's some type of grouper, but it's really cool to see all the different little fish that we see when we're diving, but we ignore them and don't really get a good look at them. And the colors look a lot different when you get them up out of the water too. So it's cool to see what eats that little jig. So in between dives, I like to throw it in. Pepe lets me do it, so I'm gonna do it. Nice little trigger fish there, and then another kind of grouper that I thought looked even cooler than the first one. As Morgan's birthday grew closer, she started to really feel the effects of being 30. She could hardly stand up throughout the day, and it was time for her to take a rest. But we were going to get back in the water and do some more reef diving and see if we get a couple more fish for dinner. Hold your breath with me as we take a drop down here into some cold green water to see all kinds of life that I don't know what the fish are. A lot of times I see bigger fish down there, and I don't know if it's something I'm supposed to shoot or not. I mean, I know what a snapper looks like, I know what a grouper looks like, but in a lot of places there's different fish, like a parrotfish, which some countries they target parrotfish, and some places they're protected and you don't want to eat them. For example, over in the Bahamas, I know people that eat them, but I also know you run a risk of ciguatera poison. That's not something you have to worry about over here in the Pacific or anywhere in Baja. There is no ciguatera. Now, I later found out that goldfish in the background, we'll call him Goldie, that's a grouper. That's a grouper similar to me what our yellowfin groupers do over here on the East Coast or in the Bahamas, where they can look bright gold at one time and then they look like a totally different grouper the other time. Our yellowfin groupers can turn into what we call firebacks or look like a typical yellowfin grouper. Now, I saw some decent looking fish down on this dive, but it wasn't something I wanted to pull the trigger on. So I was going to head back to the surface, regroup, and make another drop down because there was some life here and it was definitely worth taking another dive on. Now Pepe's making a drop down, and he only had to go about 20 or 30 feet down or so, and he had a good opportunity on a fish. So I didn't even hear his gun go off, or maybe I did, I don't remember, but I didn't know he shot something. I saw him kind of aim at something, and he's swimming up, and I thought he missed, maybe, I don't know, or something. I don't know what I thought happened, but he told me to go down. So he's coming up. I thought he missed. Then I see that he actually does have a fish. So it's time for me to make my way down because when he tells you to dive, you dive. He points down. That means go down right now. There's fish down there. So I start making a drop down. Again, this is a really similar spot to you just saw me dive on. You see the smaller fish higher in the water column, green water, dirty water, but life. And that's what I'm used to diving at home. I like that a lot. I think it makes it a little easier to hunt. The fish aren't really scared of you like they are in crystal clear water. And I spotted a snapper, a Cubera snapper. Not a big one, but it's a good eating one. That's what we call small fish, good eating. Got a good shot on it. Nice little El Rolo from top down shot. A little bit of an angle on it, which is good. I don't like straight up and down. That was going to be another really good eating fish. Good fish for the sushi party. So now we got Pepe, who just shot that Cabrilla, which is a leopard grouper. I got the Cubera snapper right here, and the Almaco jack. So now we're starting to actually get to a point where we're getting enough fish for food, for dinner. No Wahoo still, but we're making it work. Hold your fish up, Pepe. Yeah? Hold your fish out for a video. As always, once we're done landing the fish, it's time to get the dive knife out. Again, I'm using the Sword dive knife. I've been using the Sword fishing products for a while. I'm loving the dive knife. It has brained and gutted many, many fish on the water, and this Cubera was no different. I took care of the Cubera. Pepe took care of his Cabrilla. There's another look at that Cabrilla out of the water. Super pretty fish. You'll see another one, I got a feeling, because we need one more fish. So it's time to load up the spear gun again. And this is a big gun for reef diving. This is something I brought to try to shoot Wahoo, but I'm comfortable with it. I like to shoot this gun. I shoot it at home all summer long on all kinds of fish, and it's kind of like an extension to my arm. I don't have to think about anything. I know exactly how the gun works, and I'm really, really comfortable with it. So even though we're doing reef diving now, I'm very happy using this gun. There is always a chance you're going to see a massive fish, so I always say I'd rather be overgunned than undergunned. If I can't swing my gun fast enough because a little snapper's darting around and I miss, I'll take that. But if I shoot a smaller gun at a 60-pound Cubera and it doesn't have the penetrating power and I lose the fish, I'm going to be a little more upset at that. So I go overgun instead of undergun. Remember when I told you Pepe says dive? Well, right there he's gesturing that there's a fish down there. So I know there's a fish down there. I just got to go find it. He's pointing down. I've been doing a breathe up the whole time, kind of getting ready to dive. And that's something that kind of differs from free diving to spear fishing. Now we are free diving, but I'm not a free diver. I'm a spear fisherman. I don't really know all the proper techniques. And a lot of times you don't have time to do the proper techniques. You just need to kind of always be ready. So I make my dive down. I think this is about 65 feet again, a little cleaner in this spot. And he said there's a fish down there. Now I don't see it. I don't see anything. I don't see any little fish swimming around. But as I start to look out in the distance, I see the life. I don't see the fish he's talking about, but I'm spinning in a circle and I start to see the direction that I think I need to go in. I'm looking more down when I need to be looking more out. And as I start to look out, it's pretty clear that that's where the life is. I see this big rock he told me about earlier before we got in the water, and that's where I need to go. Now, this is a pretty decent dive for me. This is a longer dive. Like right now, a lot of times I would start coming up, but I saw the fish, and mentally that usually makes me be able to dive a lot longer. Now, at the top of the screen there, that's the fish I want. That's the big rock he told me about that the fish would probably be hanging around, and he was spot on. That was a pretty long shot on another cabrilla, and that's why, one of the reasons why I like to use that bigger gun. A smaller gun may not have been able to take that long of a shot. Now, given it's a body shot, I don't like doing body shots, especially at home when I'm selling fish. But on vacation, when we're really looking for a dinner fish, I'll take it all day long because we're going to land a nice cabrilla.
It's the cabrilla. It's my first cabrilla. I'm happy with it. And we're saving little fishies all over the place.
It's a very, very nice cabrilla. Yesterday or today? It's very
both,
fresh.
yeah.
It's moving, man.
It's alive.
It's moving, look, man. I want to make very good sashimi. For the sushi party, man. Look, it's very, very fresh. Just touch. Okay.
It was as much sushi as you could eat. They just kept it coming, and it was some of the best sushi I've ever had in my entire life. Also, you can see we have tuna. One of Morgan and Pepe and Victor's friends came over. He caught some really nice tuna earlier that day. So it was a ton of fish. It was a great time, and we'll call it a mission complete.